Hey, Shalom, Most High in Christ bless. This Officer Jonathan. And today we're going to do our SPAR class, and the class is called Esau Hates You Then, He Hates You Now, He going to hate you forever. So, hey, it's going to be a good one today. So, let's just start off. I just sent you a video on roots. I want you to pull up this video. The reason why I pull up this video, because this is one of my earliest childhood memories of television, watching Roots. And I always remember this scene, and you never had to convince me who the enemy was after I saw this movie. Because we have our people that's in the Christian church that don't understand who the enemy is, don't understand who the man of sin is, don't understand who the devil is. So hopefully today, this class is for you and might help you wake up to realize the truth of the Bible. Play that scene right quick.
James, your name is Toby. I want to hear you say it. Your name is Toby. You're going to learn to say your name. Let me hear you say it. What's your name?
Kunta Kinte.
When the master gives you something, you take it. He gave you a name. It's a nice name. It's Toby. And it's going to be yours till the day you die. Now, I know you understand me, and I want to hear it. Again! I want to hear you say your name. Your name is Toby. What's your name?
Kunta.
Lord God, help that boy.
That's good right there.
They're going to whip him dead.
They're going to whoop him dead. You know, when I saw this movie, I was like, dang, he really wanted him to be called Toby. That's what I thought as a child. But once I came into this truth, I realized that he was really wanting him to stop being called by the name that God gave him. Give us that, give me that in Genesis 32, verse 28.
Genesis.
Because God gave us a good name, a name that we could be proud of. And like Lord's will, a lot of y'all will get your name changed to Israel. Because, hey, it's going to take more than that beating to make me give up my name. Read.
Genesis chapter 32, verse 28. And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince hast thou power with God.
So the Most High gave our forefather Jacob the name Israel, a prince that has power with God.
Right.
And this Bible is the power that God has given us in these last days.
Right.
So give me Romans 15 and 4.
Romans chapter 15, verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope.
So through these scriptures, this is where we get our hope at. Through these scriptures is where we get our understanding, where we get our wisdom. These scriptures is what's going to be the solution for our people to bring us out of the condition that we're in now, which is still slavery. Still up under the boot of the enemy, still in the white man's hands, still being slaves today. Give me Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. Because the title was the Most High, not the Most High, but Esau hates you then, he hates you now, and he hates you forever. Go ahead.
Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 9. The thing that have been, it is that which shall be.
So, which has been, and since the beginning, since the day we was conceived, Esau hated us then. Damn! Read.
In that which is done, is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun.
There's no new thing under the sun. We still think we walking around hand in hand thinking that our enemy loves us when the Bible has always told you that he was your enemy and that your enemy hated you. Hey, let's get it from birth. Go to Genesis 25. We're going to get it from birth to prove what I just said. That he hated us since we was conceived.
Genesis chapter 25, verse 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him. And Rebekah, his wife, conceived.
So Isaac went to the Most High and prayed to the Lord for children. And the Most High hearkened. Read.
And the children struggled within her.
The children struggled within. They was already fighting in the womb. They was already fighting in the womb. I can imagine Jacob in the womb just busting Esau up inside the head every chance he got. Read.
And she said, if it be so, why am I thus?
Right. She couldn't understand why she was having these pains. She thought she was being blessed. Read.
And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
2 manner of people going to be separated from the bowel. One's going to be the child of the Lord's, and the other one is going to be the child of the devil. Read.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
And we know that we're stronger than them because we're the only people that could have survived all the years of slavery that we endured. Read.
And the elder shall serve the younger.
And the elder going to serve the younger. Read.
And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red.
And the first came out red. That's your first white man on earth. Read.
All over, like in hairy garment. And they called his name Esau.
And they called his name Esau. That's his real biblical name. He is Esau, the children of Edom. Read.
And after that came his brother out.
And his brother did what?
And his hand took hold on Esau's heel.
He took hold of Esau's heel because he thought he was getting away. But it's symbolic. Symbolic that we're going to go into rulership. Read.
And his name was called Jacob.
As you can see, they didn't describe Jacob because Jacob looked like every other man on earth. Black, brown. Read.
And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them.
Hey, jump to chapter 27, verse 41. Start at 38.
Genesis chapter 27, verse 38. And Esau said unto his father.
Now, as a matter of fact, jump up to 36.
Verse 36. And he said, is not he rightly named Jacob? For he hath supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright. And behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. And he said, hast thou not reserved a blessing for me?
So Jacob basically bought Esau's birthright. He didn't take it. He didn't steal it. He bought it. Read.
And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants. And with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son?
So Jacob was blessed with rulership of the earth. And Esau just didn't realize what he sold. Read.
And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, oh, my father.
Oh, I wish I could just hear Esau begging his father for a blessing. So he's begging, he's crying for a blessing. Read.
And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above.
So he said he gave him the best places on earth to live. And as you can see all over the earth, wherever there's a great view, oceans, mountains, there go Esau. He's right there. Read.
And by thy sword shalt thou live.
And by the sword shall he live. So he's been at war since I've been born, since your grandma's been born. Hey, he's never stopped being at war, being at odds with some nation. Read.
And shall serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
Read.
And Esau hated Jacob.
And Esau did what?
Hated Jacob.
He hated him from when he was in the womb. He hated him then. He hates him now. He was always going to have that perpetual hatred for his brother. Always. Give me 1 John 3:10.
1 John chapter 3, verse 10. In this, the children of God are manifest, and the children of the devil.
And the children of who?
Of the devil.
So you have children of God and children of the devil. Read.
Whosoever doeth not righteousness is not of God.
Whoever doeth not righteousness is not of God. Matter of fact, hold that. Give me Deuteronomy 6:25. Let's see what righteousness is. Because our people in the Christian church seem not to know what righteousness is because they want to do away with what God said is righteousness. Read.
Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 25. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God.
So doing righteousness is actually the keeping of God's commandments. You know, it shouldn't take a brain science to understand if you do what God commanded, that's good. That's righteous. But for some reason, we can't understand that in 2025. Our churches are still battling with keeping God's laws. They're still trying to understand how can that be righteous. But if they just open up this Bible and read and stop trusting the enemy, they would understand what righteousness is, and maybe our neighborhoods would change, and maybe the condition of our people would change. Go back to 1 John 3:10.
1 John chapter 3, verse 10. In this, the children of God are manifest, and the children of the devil.
Read.
Whosoever doeth not righteousness is not of God.
Read.
Neither he that loveth not his brother.
And he that don't love his brother, read.
For this is the message that ye heard from the beginning.
We heard this from the very beginning. Anybody hates their brother is of the devil. Is that it on it?
That we should love one another. Not as Cain, who was of the wicked one, and slew his brother.
And that's what Cain did. He slew his brother. And guess who took on the spirit of Cain? Esau. And all he wants to do is kill his brothers. But we inherit the blessings. And we was just some ungrateful children. Just the same way we're some ungrateful children now. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 28. Start at verse 1.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
So the Most High said if we kept those commandments, that he was going to put us in rulership over the whole earth, over every nation on the earth. How is that not righteous? How is that a bad thing, obeying God, when you're going to get rulership of the earth? I mean, you got to think about that for a second. Our Father said, I'm going to give you rulership of the earth, and you're going to rule over the nations. Read it again.
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Read.
And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
And we hearkened at the beginning because we became rulers of the earth. Our forefathers, greatest men that ever walked the earth, King David, King Solomon, they was in rulership of the earth. Most High had blessed us. We had peace during the time of King Solomon. But obviously, we got problems. Israel has always had problems because Israel is a stiff-necked, rebellious people. Jump down to verse 15.
Verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So the Most High said, I'm going to send curses upon you if you don't hearken to his voice. And who did Most High say he was going to what's going to happen to us? Give me verse 48.
Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
And then we're going to have to serve our enemies because we didn't want to keep God's commandments. And who was our enemy from birth? Esau.
Right.
He said we was going to have to serve our enemies. And Esau had already told us that he planned on killing us, that he hated our guts. Read that again from the top.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies,
which
which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger.
So now we have to go to them for food. You know, a lot of times we read these scriptures and we don't really think about the fact that we have to go to another nation for food. We can't even sustain our own selves. We have to go to our enemy, the people that hate our guts. We have to go to them for food. You know how much it takes to humble yourself to go to another man for food? Read.
And then thirst.
Read.
And then nakedness. And then wants of all things.
We got to go to them for everything. For everything. And we was once the rulers of this earth. And now we have to go to them for every single thing that sustains our life. We got to go to them for food, for water, for clothing. We got to go to them for medicine, for shelter, for education. All because we didn't want to obey the commandments of God. The commandments of God aren't hard to keep. It's just that we love sin so much. Read it again from the top.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee,
Read.
in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck, until he have destroyed thee.
So Esau put yokes of iron around our necks like we were animals, like we were cattle. And they sold us off into slavery. And they kept them yokes of iron upon our neck until we destroyed, till we no longer knew who we were as a people, till we forgot our heritage. We watched our children be sold off. We watched our wives be sold off. We watched all the evils that came upon us in slavery because we didn't want to keep the commandments of God. And now we have an opportunity to return back to God. And look what we want to do now in 2025. We want to serve the same God that they serve. We want to serve the same religion that they worship. We still forsaken the Most High God. We are not worshiping God in these churches. You go to church on Sunday, you worship Satan. And when I say you worship Satan, you worship the white man. That's your Jesus. That's your God. And that's who you follow. Matter of fact, hold that. Give me Colossians 2:8. Because I know many of them right now saying, I don't worship Satan and I damn don't worship the white man. But let's find out if you do. Colossians 2:8.
Colossians chapter 2, verse 8. Beware, lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit. After the tradition of men.
After what?
The tradition of men. After the rudiments of the world.
Listen, we follow traditions of men. We all grew up celebrating Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, Father's Day, Mother's Day, 4th of July, Halloween. That's what we followed. We followed traditions of men, and it was not any ordinary men. We didn't follow the traditions of the Japanese. We didn't follow the tradition of the Chinese. We followed the traditions of the white man. That's who gave us those holidays. That's who we follow. And we follow it still to this day. There's many of us done lost our children because their mothers won't stop celebrating these holidays. We done lost family members because they said they not following that cult that you're in. They still want to follow the white man in everything that he do. We are following his traditions. We're not following God. We don't even know. I've asked many Christians, name one holy day that you keep that Christ kept. And their mouth is silent, shut. They've never been taught. They have no understanding of these holy days that God gave us, like Passover, Tabernacle, Feast of Unleavened Bread, Pentecost. They have no idea of these things, that they are even in the Bible. But yet they all say they study. They all say they read. And then when you tell them about things like keeping the Sabbath, instead of going to church on Sunday, they say, I'm going to do some research. Listen, if you was going to do some research, I'm going to help you out. Exodus 20 and verse 8. That's how you do some research. You actually open up the Bible to where we told you where the Sabbath at, and you read it. Let's read that right quick. We're going to help you out today. So you ain't going to have to do your research on your own. If you're sitting there watching this video, open up your Bible, turn it to Exodus chapter 20, verse 8. Read that, brother.
Exodus chapter 20, verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day.
Hold on. He said, remember the Sabbath day. You know why he had to say remember? Because we had to go through at least 200 years where we could not read the Bible. 200 years that our enemy said, nope, we're not going to let you read this Bible because we don't want you ruling over us. We want you to serve us as God. We want you to serve white Jesus. And I guarantee you, if you look around your house, it's a white Jesus somewhere in your house. You might can just look on your arm, look around your neck. You got white Jesus there. If you're a Christian, he's in your house. He's in your house. He's in your Bible. He's on your wall. If your mama ain't got one, your grandma got one. Read it again.
Remember the Sabbath day. To keep it holy.
To do what?
To keep it holy.
When I ask a Christian, how do you keep the Sabbath holy? They say, you pray to God. You give him praise. There's laws that pertain to the Sabbath. There's no cooking on the Sabbath. There's no work on the Sabbath. There's no buying and selling on the Sabbath. There's no doing your own will on the Sabbath. You know, like a lot of y'all like to go, say, play tennis, shoot basketball. No, that's a day that you congregate. If you're going to do any works, go out and teach the word of God. Let that be your works that you do. Read.
6 days shalt thou labor.
6 days that you're going to labor. If you look on your calendar, every calendar on earth, the first day starts with Sunday. Read.
6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work.
6 days you're going to labor and do all your work.
But the seventh day.
What day?
The seventh day.
The seventh day is Saturday. It starts Friday at evening and Saturday at evening. That's the Sabbath. So guess what? You don't have to do any more researching on the Sabbath. It's right there in Exodus 20, chapter 20, verse 8. We helped you out today. We did a good work just for you. So now you can save that lie that you didn't know. You've been taught. Go back to Colossians.
Colossians chapter 2, verse 8. Beware, lest any man spoil you.
Beware, lest any man spoil you. Any man destroy you through what?
Through philosophy and vain deceit.
Through lies. Read.
After the tradition of men.
After the traditions of men.
After the rudiments of the world. And not after Christ.
And not after Christ. Yeah, so y'all going to have to learn what Christ did. You're going to have to be reborn again. Start over, open up the book of the Lord and read. Let me help you out. Isaiah 34 and 16. We're going to go back to Deuteronomy, but open up that right quick. Open up the Bible and read. And guess what? God actually gave you a commandment on that.
Isaiah chapter 34, verse 16. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read.
And what?
And read.
No, put it down and put it on the table.
And read.
Black people, you're going to have to open up the Bible and read it. You're going to actually have to read it. He wants you to read this Bible. He don't want you to go to church and just sing songs. He don't want you to just go clap your hands, shout, get your little tambourine out and play it. He wants you to read the word of God so you can walk in righteousness. Read.
No one of these shall fail.
Nah, not one of these books shall fail. So you can stop opening it up to Matthew or Psalms, and you can actually start reading it from Genesis, because not one of these books will fail. Read.
None shall want her mate.
You ain't going to be able to compare no other book with it. Not the Book of the Dead for all you Egyptologists. Not the Quran for all you Muslims. There is no book on earth like the Bible. The Bible has prophecies. The Bible is telling you your beginning, your midst, and end of times. The Bible is the solution to every single problem that the black man has on earth. And we've been searching our enemies for the problem. All because we've forsaken the book. We kept the book closed. We keep it right on the middle of the table, open up halfway, and nobody reads it. Nobody studies it. Nobody sits there and says, you know what? Let me see what's in this thing. Read that verse again.
Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. No one of these shall fail.
Read.
None shall want her mate. For my mouth it hath commanded, and its spirit it hath gathered them.
Wow. All we had to do was just pick up the Bible and start reading. We could have left Jet Magazine down, Ebony Magazine down, Sports Illustrated down. We could have picked up this Bible and started reading and start solving our problems in our home. We could have started fixing ourselves immediately. But, you know, we always going to be stiff-necked. We always going to be rebellious because we don't like instructions. We don't like order. We don't like discipline. And if you think I'm lying, give me Deuteronomy chapter 31. Verse 27. Let's go there.
Deuteronomy chapter 31, verse 27. For I know thy rebellion.
He knows what?
Thy rebellion.
He know our rebellion. Read.
And thy stiff neck.
And our what?
Stiff neck.
We hard-headed. We hard-headed. We still hard-headed today. We don't listen to parents. We don't listen to teachers. We don't listen to people with wisdom. We don't listen to the prophets. Hey, we don't listen to nothing but that man in the mirror. Read.
Behold, while I am yet alive with you this day, ye have been rebellious against the Lord.
Our forefathers were rebellious against the Lord, and you Negroes today are rebellious against the Lord. Ain't nothing new under the sun. Read.
And how much more after my death?
And Moses said, how much more wicked are y'all going to be after he died? I tell you how much more. We start loving the white man. That's how much more. The same person that hate our guts, we start loving him. And we want him to go to the kingdom. We want to save him. And we don't even care about saving each other. We don't even care about the fact that we got drug dealers, our women are dressing like hoes, our sons are growing up feminine, our daughters are growing up masculine. We ain't even going to try to fix them. We just going to love on our enemy. We're just going to love on our enemy and pray that he get into the kingdom. That's what we live for, to see what we can do to save him. We think if we're going to keep saying, I love everybody, that's going to be the key to the kingdom. That's all we have to do because God knows my heart.
Hell no.
Read that, verse 28.
Verse 28. Gather unto me all the elders of your tribes and your officers.
Read.
That I may speak these words in their ears and call heaven and earth to record against them.
Most High said, you know what? I want y'all to write this down. I want to record this right here about you, our people. You blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, Most High wanted you to be recorded. Read.
For I know that after my death, you will utterly corrupt yourselves.
We're going to do what?
Utterly corrupt yourselves.
We're utterly corrupt now. We more known for the wickedness than any type of righteousness that we do. We on World Star Hip Hop being just astonishment to the world. If people want to be entertained, hey, World Star, we know them Negroes on there doing something foolish. We know they fighting half naked, or they killing each other, or they just doing some type of just crazy stuff. That's all our people do. It don't matter what coast you're on, from California to Florida to South Carolina to New York. It doesn't matter where we at. We doing something that's wicked. You look, young kids, strapped. 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, strapped with guns, 9mm. I could barely afford a sneaker bar when I was growing up. These kids got 9s. I don't even know where they get their money at. Let me guess. Older brother got him selling drugs. Older brother got him on the block. When I was growing up, all they wanted to do is see you play football. Get out there on the field, try to be somebody. Now, everybody want to be Young Thug. Everybody want to be a YN. That's an astonishment. Read.
For I know that after my death, you will utterly corrupt yourselves and turn aside from the way which I have commanded you.
Read.
And evil will befall you in the latter days.
Evil shall what?
Befall you in the latter days.
Boy, we in the latter days. We was in the midst of the days. We was at the beginning of times. Evil has constantly followed us. It's like a ring. It keeps coming around and coming around. All because the one thing that stays constant in our lives is sin. The one thing that stays constant in our lives is rebelling against the Lord. And the one thing that stays constant in our lives today is the white man hated you then, the white man hated you now, and the white man gonna hate you forever. He ain't gonna love you. Until you break away from his grip, till you break away from his spell, you are gonna stay with affliction upon your neck. Finish that up.
Because you will do evil in the sight of the Lord to provoke him to anger through the work of your hands.
And that's all we do. We provoke the Most High with the work of our hands. And guess what? Esau got a place for you. He got a place for you every single time. Give me Deuteronomy, what's it, 28 and, what verse is that? I think it's 29. Let me see.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 29. And thou shalt grope at noonday, as the blind gropeth in darkness. And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways.
We ain't going to do what?
And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways.
As much as we work 40 hours a week, some of us working 60, 70 hours a week, we still ain't going to prosper in our ways. The white men done raised up eggs to $10 a carton. Think about that. Much as we think we got a good job, hey, that good job is back to being, that's the new 30 was the old 15.
Right.
We still ain't making no money. We ain't going to prosper in our ways. Matter of fact, some people are going to get ready to find out what it means to be homeless. Some people are going to find out what it means to not have lights. Some people are going to find out what it means to catch that bus. Those that have been living good, living high off the hog, guess what? You're going to feel the Lord's pain too. Read.
And thou shalt be only oppressed and spoil evermore.
We're going to be only what?
Oppressed and spoil evermore.
We're going to be only oppressed and spoiled evermore. Hold on. Give me Deuteronomy 28 and verse 43.
Verse 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high. And thou shalt come down very low.
So we was once at the top, the pinnacle over all nations. And now you can't name one nation that we over. Everybody comes to America. And they know that, hey, no matter what, we're going to be better than the Negro. They know that. They know that they ain't going to be us. We at the bottom. We at the bottom in every single thing. Last hired, first fired. We quick to get locked up. We quick to be oppressed. We quick to have drugs in our neighborhood, and we'll see those drugs in our neighborhood. We'll see those guns in our neighborhood, and we won't turn away from it. We'll be like, hey, it's a come up. And we go straight to our people to bring our people down. We're the only people that do this. Destroy each other, kill each other, hate each other. How did a people that was once over all nations of the earth, the children of the Most High, the children that had all the wisdom, that had the greatest protector on earth, fall so low? All because we wanted to serve other gods. And our enemy is no fool. Our enemy say they're going to keep that foot on your neck. They're going to keep them drugs in your neighborhood. They're going to keep them guns in your neighborhood. They're going to keep oppressing you. Why should they ever stop? We're constantly looking for them to walk hand in hand with us. We constantly looking to love them. We think if we love them, they're going to stop. They never going to stop. What the white man is doing to us, he's always done it to us. Give me 1 Maccabees chapter 1. Let's find out when Esau finally came into power. Let's start off with 1 Maccabees 1 and 1.
1 Maccabees chapter 1, verse 1.
Give me a second. Let me get it. Read.
And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip.
This is the great Alexander the Great that we've been taught in school. He's in your Bible. In the book of Maccabees, in the Apocrypha. 14 books that Esau took out. That's how much Esau hates God. He said, you know what? I'm just going to take my little history out of the Bible because I don't want you to know who I am. I don't want you to know what happened when he came into power. He don't want you to know the things that he's done, the things that he's trying to hide. Read.
The Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chedum,
Read.
had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes.
So when you read that, that he defeated Darius, Darius was ruling the book of Malachi. That's the Persian Mede Empire. So when the Old Testament ends, it ends with them in power. The part they took out is when the Greeks came into power. And here we're reading when Alexander the Greek came into power. Read.
That he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece, and made many wars, and won many strongholds, and slew the kings of the earth.
And remember, Esau was blessed with what? The art of war. So, he always creating some type of weapon. He's always creating some type of destruction because that's in his spirit. He's just evil. He's the devil that the Bible speaks of. Read.
And went through to the ends of the earth, and took spoils of many nations.
Read.
Insomuch that the earth was quiet before him.
So Esau came into power. This is him ruling the whole earth. Read.
Whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up. And he gathered a mighty strong host, and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. And after these things he fell sick, and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable, and had been brought up with him from his youth. And he parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive.
So Alexander died, and he parted his kingdom among 4 of his generals, his friends, right? Matter of fact, give me let's jump straight to verse 41.
Verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
We done heard that before, that we all should be one people. Same way that we was all call ourselves Americans, they was all calling themselves Greeks. So when you read in the New Testament, there's neither Greek nor Jew. It's talking about you. We was just calling ourselves Greeks. They call that Hellenistic Greeks. We was just calling ourselves Greeks because we had to. Same way that you call yourself American. Same thing happened then. Read.
And everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed.
So all the other nations agreed to it. Read.
According to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites.
And many of the who?
Israelites.
Many of the Israelites did it. They consented to it. Read.
Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion.
Consented to his what?
His religion.
So God called this a religion. Guess what? Now we just call it Christianity. Because the same thing happened here in America. We consented to his religion. Now they just got many different denominations, but it's all the same bird. It's all the same bird. You can call it Baptist, you can call it Pentecostal, you can call it Methodist, Mormon, you can call it whatever. It's still white Jesus. It's still white Jesus. And it's still a lie. They are not God's people. They are the devil that the Bible speaks of. But we don't realize, we don't know our history, so we don't know what we're doing today. because we don't want to read. All we want to do is read the New Testament. And we don't want to read our history. But when you read your history, when you search out the book of your forefathers, you'll find out that, hey, we was forced to serve other gods.
Right.
Matter of fact, hold on. Continue reading.
And sacrificed unto idols, and profaned the Sabbath. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem.
Hold on right quick. We profaned the Sabbath. The same thing that's going on today. And guess what? They started sacrificing pigs. And guess what we eating today? Pigs. Same thing that happened back then. Same thing that's happening today. Read.
For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land.
They should do what?
Follow the strange laws of the land.
I remember growing up and white people was celebrating St. Patrick's Day and black people putting on green. And I used to be like, what the hell? Oh, I'm like, what is St. Patrick's Day? A little elf?
Bruh.
I'm like, what? Then Halloween, dressing up like a goblin. Even as a child, I knew better. I wasn't dressing up like no demon. 4th of July, I saw roots. It wasn't nothing for me to be celebrating about America once I saw that. I never celebrated 4th of July. Period. But look at us. We following the strange laws of the land. Those are holidays. Wait, we take the day off. We get dressed. We go we go get our grill, get our cook on, and we join in the white man's festivities. And act like we were celebrating the 4th of July, like we had freedom. When we were still sitting there getting whipped, raped, killed, and murdered. That's what was happening to us.
Right.
But we know we got a short memory. Read.
And forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days.
And what?
And festival days.
We don't even know the festival days now. We don't even know the festival days. And we sit there and can read this and be like, well, God know my heart. How about God say you know how to read? How about God say you know how to read and you should know how to follow instructions? If you say you love me, keep my commandments.
Right.
How simple is that? How simple is that for us to do that? Read.
And pollute the sanctuary and holy people.
Read.
Set up altars.
They set up what?
Altars. And groves.
And what?
And chapels of idols.
They set up churches. I guarantee you we had a church on every corner. The same way we got them now. They go St. Lutheran, Baptist, and Pentecostal, 100th degree. We got churches everywhere. All through Columbia, all through Charleston, all through Greenville. No matter where is a black neighborhood, there's a lot of churches.
Right.
And where there's a lot of churches, guess what follows? A lot of sin. As much as we got churches on every corner, I like to know where's the people of God at. Because I never see them. I never see them actually worshiping God. But I see them in the club.
Right.
I see them on the block selling dope. I see the sisters dressed like hoes. That's what's coming out of them churches like that. Because who set it up? Esau. Who God you worshiping? Esau. And you sitting there thinking you worshiping the God of this Bible by not doing nothing that it says. Christ kept the commandments. You said, no, we ain't got to do that. He did it for us. What does that work at anywhere on earth? You get paid for not doing nothing. You're gonna get a reward by not doing nothing? Well, the white man had to play tricks on us for us to buy that. That we think we can inherit the kingdom. We said, much is given, much is expected. The Negro say, I don't got to do nothing. That's crazy. That's crazy talk. I've never heard anything like that in my life. That we think we don't have to keep the commandments of God. Not one.
Bruh.
That's crazy. And this whole time, we still getting killed. The whole time, we still dying. Finish that out.
And sacrifice swine's flesh.
They did what?
And sacrifice swine's flesh.
The Negro today don't mind that. He like him a little white meat. He like him a little pork, a little skins, a little pork chop. Read.
And unclean beasts.
And unclean beasts. They love some shrimp. They love some crab. They love some catfish. They think they going to pray over something God said don't eat, and it's not going to affect them. So we end up with high blood pressure, gout, diabetes. We end up overweight, obese. We end up with all type of health problems, but I thought you prayed over it. Didn't work. There's a reason why it didn't work, because God said don't eat it. Read.
That they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation.
But I thought they loved the kids. I thought we loved our children. I thought we would give our life for our kids. We won't even take the time to read them God's laws. We won't even take the time to teach them how to worship God correctly. We won't read to them. We won't even show them in the Bible where Jesus is black. We ask kids all the time, what color is Jesus? That mama will jump in and is like, he know what color Jesus is. We'll say, yeah, what color is Jesus, little man? He say, right there, the little white one. Every single time. Never fails. Never fails. One day we're going to be out there and we're going to run into a little Israelite child and he's going to say, that's the damn devil. Right. And I'm going to say, hallelujah. Hey, I can't wait to see that. Right. I can't wait to run into an Israelite child that know that, hey, Caesar Borgia is the devil. Leave that. It's going to make me smile all day long. You finish that out?
To the end, they might forget the law.
They might forget the what?
The law.
Hey, boy, we forgot the law. Read.
And change all the ordinances.
And we changed all the ordinances. We said no more Passover. We got Easter. We said no more Pentecost. We got 4th of July. We done changed all the ordinances of God. For Satan, the Most High, to follow Satan. And we think we're not doing it. We think we actually worshiping God. I'm going to help you out. This is how you can find out how to worship God. Give me Sirach 32 and 24. If you truly believe that you worshiping God, this is all you have to do.
Sirach chapter 32, verse 24. He that believeth in the Lord taketh heed to the commandment.
Do what?
Taketh heed to the commandment.
No, forsake the commandments.
Taketh heed to the commandment.
That's all you have to do. Take heed to the commandments. Read.
And he that trusteth in him shall fare never the worse.
What you got to lose? The Most High got you. He got you. He said, keep these commandments and live. That's as simple as it could be. Give me Romans 6 and 23. We got to understand something. There's something that comes with breaking God's commandments. We don't just sit out there on the corners every single day yelling, hey, you got to keep God's laws for nothing. We come out there with the act of love, trying to keep you from dying. Read that.
Romans chapter 6, verse 23. For the wages of sin is death.
The wages of sin is what?
Is death.
Is death. The wages of sin is death. You got to understand, choosing to follow the white man's religion, choosing to follow Christianity, that's death to you, to your children, to your family members, to the people that you love. Right. Give me Isaiah 28 and 15. Because I know that we think we following Christ by saying we're Christians, by joining these religions. But listen, you join with your enemy. There's a reason why they said, nope, we're going to keep you from reading this book. They wanted you to grow accustomed to doing the things that you do now. Going to church on Sunday, following these holidays. They got you to do it where it became a routine for you. became part of your culture. Because you forgot your heritage. You had to adopt their heritage. They don't have a God.
Right.
You understand? They don't have a God. They don't have laws that they got to live by. But you do.
Right.
Read.
Isaiah chapter 28, verse 15. Because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death.
We did what?
We have made a covenant with death.
We made a covenant with death. By joining the white man, we've made a covenant with death. And best assured, that's what we're going to receive, death, unless we repent. That's the only thing we got to do is repent, turn away from the white man's ways. Turn away from him. Stop following him. God made that simple for you. Is that it on that?
And with hell, are we at agreement?
In hell, we are at agreement. Because if we don't want to keep God's laws, that's where we at. We're still in slavery. We still catching hell right here on this earth. And you know what? A lot of us done got comfortable in it. They're comfortable in it. They don't care how their life goes. But they're going to care on that second death. Read that again from the top.
Because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we at agreement. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through it, it shall not come unto us. For we have made lies our refuge.
We did what?
We have made lies our refuge.
Hey, our people love lies. We've made lies our refuge. We live in lies. We live in lies. We love that thing. And you know the sad thing about that is lies. God hate liars. He hate liars. And we done made lies our refuge. Give me that in Isaiah 30 and 8.
Isaiah chapter 30, verse 8. Now go, write it before them in a table, and note it in a book, that it may be for the time to come, forever and ever, that this is a rebellious people.
This is a what?
Rebellious people.
This is a rebellious people, remember? God is constantly telling you that we're rebellious and stiff-necked. And even today, even when we hear that we got to keep God's laws, that we're not keeping the Sabbath, we're still sitting there thinking of some type of way that we can slide into the kingdom without keeping God's laws. We still think that, you know what? I'm going to just wait till I get on my deathbed, and then I'm going to confess that I love Jesus, and I believe, and that's going to give me the key to the kingdom. Now, that's just going to be your judgment. You're just getting ready to die. You're not going to get no second chance, because you got a chance now, and look what you do. You throw it right behind your back and keep walking. You hear the word of God, you keep walking. You hear the prophets, you keep walking. You give us your butt to kiss. Read it again from the top.
Now go, write it before them in a table, and note it in a book, that it may be for the time to come, forever and ever.
Read.
That this is a rebellious people.
This is a what?
Rebellious people.
Lying
children. Children that will not hear the law of the Lord, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things. Speak unto us smooth things. Prophesy deceits.
Prophesy what?
Deceits.
Because we love lies. We made lies our refuge. We love to hear that God is in our heart, that we're going to get a blessing today. Hey, give me that. Listen, one of the wickedest doctrines I ever heard come out of the Christian church is that prosperity doctrine.
Right.
They go to church for money. They don't go to church to find salvation. They don't go to church to find out what they got to do to walk in righteousness. Hey, pull that video up. You got it? No, the one where they're getting ready to dance on the money. Let me see what you got.
Yours because of the work of Jesus. No. Tithe! Give money and you'll get the blessing. If you don't, nothing for you. What has happened to the gospel of grace? These charlatans have turned it into a gospel of works, and they have put people, wow, have they put people under bondage. This is one of the most disturbing things you might ever see.
I walk on this money. Woo! 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 anointing. You put some up here. Woo, man. Woo. Put some money. Put some anointing on this money. You put something up here. You put. Woo. Prosper. Prosper, I said.
Look at the crowd. They just whipped up. They all excited. And here they go Creflo. He joined in the fun.
Hallelujah. Hey. God, your bills are paid.
You know,
You want
that prosperity doctrine has destroyed a lot of our people. And the church has gotten rich off of it. Give me that, Micah.
Micah chapter 3, verse 11. The heads thereof judge for reward.
They do what?
Judge for reward.
As you can see, the Bible does not lie. The Bible told us what we'll be doing. Our leaders will be doing. Judging for reward. Read.
And the priests thereof teach for hire.
They do what?
Teach for hire.
Well, we can say they teaching, but they don't teach a thing. Because they don't teach God's laws. What they do is teach our people lies. But, you know, since they love it so, they're going to keep on teaching them lies. Read.
And the prophets thereof divine for money.
They do what?
Divine for money.
And they're going to dance in your money when they get it. They're going to anoint that money and dance in it. Until you going to get some, and you ain't going to see a red dime. You're not going to see nothing. You're going to still be broke. You're still going to be struggling come Monday. And it ain't no blessings coming your way. Only thing coming your way is death. And that's what we got to start waking up. We got to start realizing, hey, your enemy sit there and watch us act a fool. Because why? They hate your guts. They hated your guts so much that they know that this Bible is the only thing that can save you. And what did they do back in the day? Give me that First Maccabees chapter where they burnt the Bible. Was it 1 in 50? Start at verse 56.
First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 56. And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law which they found, they burnt them with fire.
They did what?
Burnt them with fire.
They burnt our Bibles with fire. Why do you think they burned these Bibles with fire? Because they understand this is your strength. They understood that. Get that in Judas chapter 5. Just to prove that.
Judas chapter 5, verse 17. And whilst they sinned not before their God, they prospered, because the God that hated iniquity was with them.
So when we didn't sin, we prospered. We prospered. And we can't understand why we're in the ghetto struggling. We can't understand why we're going from check to check. All we have to do is come back to God's laws, and we'll prosper in all our ways. Read.
But when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles, very sore. They were destroyed in many battles, very sore, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs. And the temple of their God was cast to the ground.
And so we was cast into slavery, and we lost our temple. The place where we was serving God. All because we was what? Wanting to serve our enemies. We didn't want to keep God's laws. You would have thought we went from in captivity, out of captivity, in captivity, out of captivity. After the first time, you'd have thought we'd have learned our lesson. But nope, stiff-necked and rebellious. Read.
And their cities were taken by the enemies. But now are they returned to their God, and are come up from the places where they were scattered, and have possessed Jerusalem, where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate.
So we came back to God, and guess what? We back inherited that city. We was back on top again. Hey, start at verse 20.
Verse 20. Now therefore, my Lord and governor.
So here go two generals sitting there looking at our people. After we done gained our city back, read.
If there be any error in this people, and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin.
This shall be our ruin. Will be our downfall when we sin against God. You know, hey, we should be able to reason with each other and say, hey, if I do this wrong, man, God ain't on my side. How much bad luck do we need? How much hell do we have to go through in captivity? How much oppression do we really want in life? Read.
And let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
So that's what our enemies say. Hey, we can overcome them if they sin against God. Read.
But if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them, and their God before them, and we become a reproach before all the world.
So our enemies understood that if we sin against God, that would be our downfall. So the enemy is no fool. Go back to First Maccabees and let's see what they did again. Let's get rid of their strength.
First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 56. And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law which they found, they burnt them with fire.
They burnt our books. They burnt up our books. Because they didn't want you to have the knowledge and wisdom of God. Is that it on there?
And wheresoever was found with any the book of the testament, or if any consented to the law, the king's commandment was that they should be put, and the king's commandment was that they should put him to death.
They should do what?
Put him to death.
So we was killed for keeping God's laws. And what happens today in 2025? They'll take billions of dollars for you for just posting up a link to a book telling you an Israelite. They'll make it a crime for you saying that you're a Jew. But that's nothing new. They was putting you to death for reading the book, being caught with the book. Watch this. If even professing yourself to be a Jew. Give me 2 Maccabees 6 and 6.
Second Maccabees chapter 6, verse 6. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days.
So it wasn't lawful for a man to keep the Sabbath day. Guess what? Even right now, they do things to make sure that you break the Sabbath. They pay you on Friday, put sales up on Saturday. Most of your jobs tell you got to work on the Sabbath day. Read.
Or ancient feast.
Our ancient feast. They just eliminated all of God's feasts. This day, we in a Bible Belt. And I have never heard not one single Christian tell me that they're keeping God's holy days. Not one. But yet we'll keep Christmas and Easter and Thanksgiving. What sense does it make for us to follow these pagan holidays? Because that's how Christians are, just pagans. They should stop calling themselves Christians and just call themselves what they really are, pagans. And if you Negroes don't know what pagan means, that means you don't worship God. It's as simple as that. You don't worship God. You worship a false God. Read that out.
Or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
So he couldn't call himself a Jew. And you know how you know it's still true today? What's your last name? Smith, Williams, Henderson, Jefferson, Watson, Whiteside. I don't know none of y'all out there called Israel unless you with us. That's the only people I know called Israel. They walking in keeping these commandments. Everybody else still got the white man's last name because he made it where you couldn't call yourself a Jew. And what happened then? The same thing that happened today. They beat that name out of you. That's why we showed Kuta Kinte. They beat that name out of you. Ain't nothing changed. Now you just well-behaved slaves. And you name your children after your slave masters. You pass that slave master's name from generation to generation. Somebody got to break the curse. Somebody got to stand up for God. Somebody got to want to do what's right. But look what your enemy do. They laughing in your face because you don't have a clue. Give me Lamentations 3, verse 38. Let's start there.
Lamentations chapter 3, verse 38. Out of the mouth of the Most High proceedeth not evil and good.
Out of the mouth of the Most High, does it not proceed evil and good? Did he not tell us, keep these laws and live? Break my commandments and die? Read.
Wherefore doth a living man complain, a man for the punishment of his sins?
Why are you crying that you're going through affliction? Why are you crying that when your son gets shot down in the streets? Why are you crying when you're still in the midst of sin? Why are you crying that you're struggling from check to check when you're still in the midst of sin?
Right.
Why are you crying that you got to take care of all these kids by yourself when you're still in the midst of sin? We steady crying constantly as a people and don't realize it's all our own fault because we stay in the midst of sin. Read.
Let us search and try our ways and turn again to the Lord.
Let us do what?
Let us search and try our ways.
Let us search. We say we were going to do some research. Open up the Bible and read it.
Right.
Try out the ways of the Most High. See how it works for you. See how it feels to keep your clothes on and stop fornicating.
Right.
See how it feels to go get a job and take care of your family.
Right.
See how it feels to keep the Sabbath day.
Right.
See how it feels to keep God's holy day. Watch you get your pride back. Watch you get your dignity back. Watch you start feeling like a man. Watch how you start feeling like a true princess. But you got to first try out God's ways and just stop looking at it and thinking they just words in a book.
Right.
Read.
Let us search and try our ways and turn again to the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Let us lift up our heart with our hands unto God in the heavens.
Read.
We have transgressed and have rebelled.
We had did what?
We have transgressed and have rebelled.
We've sinned against the Lord. Read.
Thou hast not
And
pardoned.
the Most High hadn't pardoned us. We still in sin. Read.
Right.
Thou hast covered with anger and persecuted us.
Uh-huh.
Thou hast slain. Thou hast not pitied.
The Most High has not pitied us. Because why? That's what you do to rebellious children. Most High will break you. He ain't gonna get tired. His arm don't get tired. He's gonna break you. You want to keep sinning? Guess what? You're gonna fall.
Right.
You want to keep sinning? You're gonna die. You're not gonna win that battle with the Most High. Read.
Thou hast covered thyself with a cloud,
Uh-huh.
that our prayer should not pass through.
And he ain't hearing none of your prayers. You still gonna be at the bottom. You still gonna get oppressed. You still gotta get up and go work that job in the morning. You still ain't gonna hit that lottery ticket. You still gonna have hell on this earth.
Right.
Read.
Thou hast made us as the offscouring and refused in the midst of the people.
Hey, in the midst of the people, all we are is still niggas. They look at us, they shake their head. They talk evil about us. They don't say, hey, them the children of God. That's the tribe of Judah. They don't say that. They look at us with disgust. They don't want to be around us. We move to their neighborhoods, they move out. Nobody wants to be around the black man. Read.
All our enemies have opened their mouths against us.
What have our enemies done?
All our enemies have opened their mouths against
They
us.
talk so much evil about us. They hate our guts. We try to reach out hand in hand and work with them, but for what? They do not care. They talk evil about us. No much how hard we try to work with the white man is never going to stop being your enemy. Give me that on the video on Representative Jermaine Johnson. Jermaine Johnson, Representative, good old brother, he had to find out the hard way. You could tell that it hurt his heart. This is a representative out of the state of South Carolina, Jermaine Johnson. Read. Go ahead and play.
You hate when we use the word racist. You don't like being called racist in here. You hate when we use the word racist. You hate being attacked. You hate when we bring up race in everything. But then when we have an opportunity to show that we're not racist, you let me down every time. Every time. And I sit here and we talk about our families, We talk about our kids. We go on trips together. And then we talk about not using our state dollars to go to white supremacy programs, and then we table it. You want to talk about some stuff? Let's talk about how they just took almost $7 million from the College of Charleston because they want to help black kids.
Hey, you got to play that video over. Hey, that brother was saying some deep stuff. Because you could tell, hey, that's what happens with our people when they go work with the white man. They actually think they can make change. And they disappointed every single time. And you could tell that brother was hurt. He felt that pain. Play it again.
All racist in here. You hate when we use the word racist. You hate being attacked. You hate when we bring up race and everything. But then when we have an opportunity to show that we're not racist, you let me down every time. Every time. And I sit here and we talk about our families, we talk about our kids, we go on trips together, and then we talk about not using our state dollars to go to white supremacy programs, and then we table it. You want to talk about some stuff? Let's talk about how they just took almost $7 million from the College of Charleston because they want to help black kids. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about all the amendments that are in the state budget right now to defund all the black programs that are going across the state. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about AP African American Studies that was banned from this state. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the attacks that you got going on people who don't look like you. Let's talk about it. Why do we continuously do this to our kids? Why? What is it that you're doing? What are you showing your kids? That public funds can go to white supremacy programs? We just had an issue at USC where all those kids felt scared. Matter of fact, we just had the Patriot Front on our steps last week. What are we doing here? Tell me what we're doing. Don't try to explain to me, well, I thought it was this, or nah, it's that. Nah, Jermaine, we want to see equality. We give you an opportunity every single time. And here we go again. I was in the back, I was ready to go just like y'all are. But here we go. Every single time you get an opportunity to show us something different, you show us who you are. You don't like being called racist in here.
Hey, they man say every single time they're going to show who they are. Hey, they're going to show you who they are because they're the devil that the Bible speaks of.
Right.
They've been showing you who they are. They've been showing you from the time that we became a people, they've shown that they the wicked. And we keep still looking at them like they the gods of this earth. We got to start looking at them for who they truly are.
Right.
And you know what? It's going to be us that going to have to reveal who they are. Give me 2 Thessalonians 2:8.
Second Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 8. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth.
So the wicked got to be revealed. Who going to reveal it? The Christian church?
Hell no.
How they going to reveal the wicked when they think the wicked is little Tommy down the street? You know what I'm saying? When they think the wicked look like us.
Bruh.
They don't even say that they got enemies. They love everybody. But the wicked got to be revealed. And it's going to take men of the Lord to go out and teach it.
Right.
Read that again.
And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
Hey, jump up to verse 3. We'll come back to that.
Verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first.
It said, let no man deceive you by any means. That man that deceived the whole world was Esau. He deceived the whole world. He put himself up to be Christ. He put himself up to be God. He said he the people of the book. He deceived the whole world. Read.
And that man of sin be revealed.
That man of sin got to be revealed.
Right.
He got to be revealed. Listen, if we just went off the fact of elimination, they killed Christ. They enslaved God's people. They dropped 2 atomic bombs. They done had World War I, World War II. They done had Vietnam. Hey, they constantly waging war throughout the earth. They constantly stealing lands. They constantly destroying kingdoms. And we have to really ask ourselves, who is the man of sin? We really have to ask that. We really have to guess and figure out who that wicked one is. Black man, it's time for us to stop burying our head in the sand. It's time for you to recognize who the enemy is. He hated you then, he hates you now, he's going to hate you in the future. And the more we wake up to this Bible, the more you become a marked man. And they're going to plan on doing the same thing that they did to our forefathers back then. They're going to try to kill you today. Read that again from the top.
Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first.
And how did the falling away happen? Give me Luke 21. Let's start verse 21.
Luke chapter 21, verse 20.
Yeah, and you know, I want our people to think about something. Because our people love to be simple and say, you know, God loved everybody and Jesus died for everybody. You know, it's amazing to think that the Romans were actually in our land killing and murdering our people, lynching and hanging them up on crosses by the thousands, hunting down the followers of Christ and killing them. And we think that Christ died for them? That's foolishness. I mean, that's just utterly ridiculous. Read.
And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies.
Guess what? We'll just skip right by that and act like Jerusalem wasn't compassed with armies, God's holy land. It was the Roman armies. Read.
Then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains.
God told us to flee when you see the Romans. He didn't tell you to go embrace them. Hey, he sent his son Jesus there to save them. He said flee because they're your enemy. Read.
And let them which are in the midst of it depart out.
He said get up out of there. Read.
And let them that are in the countries enter thereinto.
He said, you see your homeboys outside? Hey, don't tell them to come back. Read.
For these be the days of vengeance.
These be what?
The days of vengeance.
No, this is days of peace. Jesus died for everybody.
For these be the days of vengeance.
This is the days of vengeance. Read.
That all things which are written may be fulfilled.
That all things are written be fulfilled. Because why? We broke God's commandments. We was being kicked up out the land and been scattered throughout this whole earth in slavery. Read.
But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, for there shall be a great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people.
And what upon these people?
And wrath upon this people.
Who you think was bringing wrath upon these people? It was Esau bringing wrath upon God's chosen people. Read.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword.
What happened to our people?
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword.
And they fell by the edge of the sword. Read.
And shall be led away captive into all nations.
And led away captives to all nations. Hey, right then and there, you should know that's you. We was led captive into all nations. We was brought over here to America, dropped off at the islands, took down to South America, dropped off in Europe, dropped off in Australia, dropped off in Canada. We everywhere. This Bible is our book, telling you our history, telling you our past, our present, and our future. And one thing has been coming the whole time. Esau has been the one that hated your guts. Esau has been your enemy, and Esau has been the one that has deceived you. Finish that out.
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles.
It should be trodden down to William.
Of the Gentiles.
The Gentiles are in the land now. They're not the real Jews. They still there. Matter of fact, hold that. Give me Revelation 2 and 9.
Right.
Revelation chapter 2, verse 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich.
God said he know our works. He know our tribulation.
Right.
But we're rich. We're rich spiritually. We're rich because the kingdom of heaven is promised to us. We're rich because the world is promised to us. But it's only promised to those that keep God's commandments. Read.
And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews.
Our people ain't saying they Jews. They don't want to have nothing to do with Israelites. But you got those people that's over there in our land right now pretending they're the Jews, calling themselves Jewish. Read.
And are not.
And they're what?
And are not.
Read.
But are the synagogue of Satan.
He said they're the church of the devil.
Right.
I didn't make that up. I ain't talking evil about them. I'm just reading it out the book.
Right.
He said they're the church of the devil. Read verse 3 and 9.
Revelation chapter 3, verse 9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie.
They do what?
But do lie.
Uh-huh.
Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee.
He said he's going to make them come and worship at our feet. But I'm going to tell you something. Christians, you won't be there if you ain't keeping God's commandments.
Right.
You won't be there if you don't repent and turn from your evil ways. As much as I can read about this all day, listen. Give me Revelation 2 and 27.
Revelation chapter 2, verse 26.
26, yes.
And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations.
Listen, the Bible has been written. The story has been told. We got to be able to overcome all these lies that have been put before us.
Right.
We got to be able to overcome Christianity. Don't let that be the stronghold that keeps you from the kingdom, because you're more committed to a religion than committed to the words of God. Read.
And he shall rule them with a rod of iron.
And we're going to rule them with the rod of iron. Read.
As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers.
I didn't say it. The Most High said it.
Right.
We're going to break them to shivers. They don't want to get in line. They're going to be broken. Read.
Even as I received of my Father.
Hey, we got to understand something. This Bible is telling you that we're going to come out on top. This Bible is telling you if we overcome our enemies and come out of their ways. Matter of fact, give me Proverbs 3 and 31. 2 more verses. We're going to end this. I'm way past my time. Cut it short.
Proverbs chapter 3, verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor.
Envy thou not the oppressor. Listen, we came over here in 1619 on slave ships. The oppressor hadn't changed. He hadn't changed. He ain't changed his spots. He's still oppressing. Read.
And choose none of his ways.
Do what?
And choose none of his ways.
Choose none of his ways.
Right.
Let me see. He goes to church on Sunday. He prays the white Jesus. He has Christianity. He keeps the holidays. You know what? He believes in homosexual marriage. God said don't choose none of their ways.
Right.
How can you go wrong? He's the devil that the Bible speaks of. Read it again.
Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways.
Choose none of his ways. Give me last verse. Give me Revelation 13 and 10. Start at verse 9.
Revelation chapter 13, verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear.
You men and women out there, y'all got ears. Listen up close. This is the good news. Read.
He that leadeth into captivity
The white man that led you into captivity, that hate your guts,
shall go into captivity.
he got to go into captivity. Read.
He that killeth with the
The
sword
white man that's been killing you with the sword since the beginning of time,
must be killed with the sword.
he got to be killed with the sword. Read.
Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. And with that, I say shalom.
What is a nation?
Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with